Hi everyone, my name is Jo. I'm a swing and blues dancer and teacher from Sydney, and today I'm going to talk about dance shoes. How do you find the right dance shoe that's going to work for you? I'm going to talk about some cheap or even free options, and then I'm going to talk about some of the wonderful dance shoes that are on the market if you decide you want to invest a bit of money. Okay, so let's start talking about what to look for in a dance shoe. Ideally, you want something that is going to allow you to move freely, be very comfortable, and allow you to slip over the floor. You don't want too much grip. Swing dancing and blues dancing are both African American art forms, and so they do have their roots in African dance and music styles. And so it's a very athletic dance. There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of bouncing, there's a lot of traveling, and so you want something that is going to allow you to dance for hours and hours, be comfortable, and be safe. So a couple of things that you probably want to avoid. First of all is too much grip. So I've got here a pair of trainers. Pretty much everybody's got a pair of these in the wardrobe, and while they are super comfortable and really supportive, they're not ideal for swing dancing, and the reason is there's a lot of grip. So when you're spinning or sliding around the floor, you want to be able to move freely, and something like this is not going to allow you to do that because it will stick to the floor. Particularly for follows, if you're doing a lot of spinning, a shoe like this with lots of grip, it can put a lot of strain on your knees as you're trying to spin, because your knee's going this way, your foot's stuck to the floor, and it's, once or twice is not going to do a lot of damage, but it's not something you want to get into the habit of wearing for dancing. So avoid that. Next one to avoid is sandals. Anything with an open toe, the chances of getting stepped on the dance floor are fairly high, especially if it's crowded, and that's going to hurt, obviously. So something which has got a closed-in toe is going to be much safer for you. You can choose to wear high heels for swing dancing, but please don't wear tango or salsa heels. Anything that is very high and very spiky can be very dangerous on the dance floor. The chances of you either rolling an ankle or stomping on someone else and really hurting them are quite high. So please, no tango shoes for dancing. How much grip you particularly like is very personal. When I was starting out dancing, I liked more grip. These days I prefer less, but everybody's different. But just think about those key things of making sure it's comfortable, that you can slide, and that it's not going to allow you to get stepped on and squish toes. So the cheapest dance shoe I think you can buy is something like this. Now, they're a bit messy because I wore them to paint the house the other day, which is why they're covered, but these are from Kmart. They have a very hard plasticky kind of sole, which is actually perfect, lots of slip. They're very cheap, I think about $10. Anywhere like Kmart, Big W, Cotton On, any of those stores will sell you these. They've got a cotton upper. I would recommend putting an insole in because there's not a lot of support in there, but super cheap, really good option if you're starting out and dancing and don't want to spend a lot of money. So next I'm going to talk about some things you might be able to find that you already have in your wardrobe that are going to be great for dancing. So first of all, let's look at a couple of options for men. So we've got just a dress shoe here. It's got a leather sole. Leather soles are perfect for dancing because you can slide really easily on the floor. You could add a little insole to keep it nice and comfortable. Something like that's a great choice. A lot of you will have something along those lines in your wardrobe already. A couple of other options that can work is this shoe has got a synthetic sole. So it's a little bit more grippy than the leather, but it's not as much grip as the leather, as the trainer. So something like that can work very well. So next I'm going to talk about some shoes that I have in my wardrobe. They're not dance shoes, but they work great for dancing. So the first one is here. I've got just like a little leather shoe, leather sole, works perfectly, really comfortable, nice and slippery, fantastic, already had those. The next thing I'm going to talk about is my go-to dance shoe. This is actually a pair of Keds, is the brand. These are leather, so they're very comfortable. The best thing here is it's got quite a flat sole, but this out of the shop comes with a very sticky rubber sole. So what I've done is I've taken some suede and I've stuck that onto the shoe, and that gives me loads of slip. It's basically perfect for dancing. The good thing is this way, by sueding them yourself, you can choose the shoe that works for your feet, that is comfortable. If you need orthotics or anything like that, you can fit those in. And I had this piece of leather. It was an offcut from, I had an old handbag I was throwing out because it was broken. So I just cut the leather out, got some glue from the supermarket, stuck it on, and instant dance shoes. You can also take any pair of shoes to a cobbler or a shoe repair person, and they'll be able to add the suede for you. It typically costs around $70, so obviously if you can do it yourself, that's great, because you're going to save a heap of cash. But it's a really good way of taking any shoe and turning it into a dance shoe. Okay, so now I have a confession to make. I have a lot of dance shoes. A little bit of a problem, but the benefit is it means I get to show you lots of different options that you can have a look at if you decide to dive into actually buying some dedicated shoes. There's a bunch of different manufacturers and sellers out there. If you are in Sydney and you want to actually go and try something on, there is a store called Block. They largely do ballet stuff, but they also do some what they call character shoes, which are a little sort of low-heeled shoe, kind of like this. But there aren't that many other shoe sellers that you can go and try stuff on. However, there is a wealth of things available online. So I personally prefer to dance in either a flat or a very low heel. I have bad ankles, and so for me that works better. So here's some of my favorites. This is a brand called Groovy Fox. I think they're in Bulgaria or Romania, somewhere in Europe anyway. Very nice shoes. This one has a synthetic sole, so it's got lots of slip. This is a brand called Charlie Stone. It's actually started by a dancer who used to live in Sydney, now lives overseas, and so she started her own brand. This has a synthetic sole, which I find is a little bit too much grip for some floors, but she has beautiful designs, really cute little retro style. And the benefit of this is it's got a little inbuilt heel, so it gives you just a little bit of height without feeling uncomfortable or unsafe for wearing a regular heel. These are wonderful, comfortable shoes by a company called Blair, based in Germany. You can see here they've got what they call a spin spot. So this shoe has got a hard rubber sole, but this particular rubber has been specially designed for dancers so that it has lots of that nice slip. Very comfortable shoe, very supportive, lots of nice sort of padding inside, great option, and they come in sort of different variations. This is one of my favorites. This is a shoe by a brand called Balboa Zin. They're based in Korea, and they actually make them custom. So you trace your foot, you send it overseas, and you pick out of the styles that they have available which one you want, and then you can select exactly what color you want wear. Absolutely gorgeous shoes, a little bit expensive. So in terms of price, these are about $160, these are about $190, these are about $300. So that's why we talked earlier about how you can get cheap options, because obviously not everybody's going to want to spend that kind of money, particularly if you're just new to dancing. But here are some of the great flat options that I love. Okay, so now let's talk about heels. As I said before, you don't want anything that's too high, and you definitely don't want a spike heel. Anything like a tango heel, definite no-no for swing dancing, because it's so active. However, you can wear something like this. This is a brand called Remix. They do some really beautiful designs, and they have these lovely chunky heels. So that height is maybe about 5 centimeters. Personally, that's as high as I would consider dancing in. Although some people do dance in high heels if they feel comfortable, but you want something that's at least a couple of centimeters across the base so that you've got nice stability. Nobody wants to trip over and break an ankle. This is a lovely brand from Spain called Slide and Swing. Nice little low heel, again, nice and chunky. This for me is a more comfortable height for dancing. But both of these heels work really well for Balboa, which typically you would have a higher heel than you would for swing dancing. And then finally, these are dedicated dance shoes. They've got a suede sole, and I got these in Korea. They're very comfortable. They look really cute. Nice, stable, low heel, yeah, really, really nice option there. One thing I would reiterate: if you have anything with a suede sole, please don't wear them outside. If you wear them outside, you will mess them up, and they'll never be the same again. You've ruined your dance shoes. So inside only. Great, so hopefully that's given you some ideas. Those are just a starting point. There are so many different brands out there. You may find that you've got a favorite that's completely different. You may find that you look for something that's different from what I do in a shoe. It's very personal, but think about those golden rules: slippery sole, stable and comfortable, and closed toe so you don't get stomped on. That said, enjoy, happy shopping, and we'll see you on the dance floor.